Hello, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Stephen BrainScan.
And we hate movies.
Yeah!
We all go a little mad sometimes.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Sometimes that is better.
Zombies have entered the building. They're at the door. They're coming in.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
He's sick, for fuck's sake. You've seen one too many movies.
Now, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Put the fucking rules in the bag!
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Welcome to the first episode of the 2015 Halloween Spooktacular. We're getting right into it with a pseudo cyber thriller.
Yeah, I was wondering, how do you categorize this? It's almost...
Well, the internet's not involved.
The internet's not involved.
It's sort of involved, right? Because he has to dial...
Yes.
What was it? 1-800-FEAR?
1-800-555-FEAR.
In order to access the CD-ROM. So I think there's quasi... This is early internet.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're playing Myst and you need to, like, I don't know.
Oh, man, fucking read the scroll and jerk off a fucking monk or whatever happens in that game. By the way, we're talking about BrainScan from 1994, directed by John Flynn. This you're fucking losing it.
Well,
I don't know.
If you want to get to the lighthouse, you better
exactly.
Better
Start stroking.
Oh, I don't know. I could get out of your way or I could not. What are we going to do about this?
It's up to you. Friar Fox waiting. That's a whole different game.
It's like a puzzle. You got to rearrange his genitalia in order for the secret door to open.
Oh, no, you were playing Trist. You should be playing Myst.
That explains a whole lot. So this movie is Edward Furlong is a real horror hound. He just loves watching horror movies, and he's got a weird friend who's 27 years old. Playing like a 13-year-old kid in this movie. And he gives
Kyle.
Kyle, yeah, please, Kyle.
And he's Michael, I believe.
Yes, Eddie Furlong is Michael. So Mike and Kyle are horror hounds. And Kyle's like, hey, man, I read the new issue of Fango, which is apparently what you call Fangoria if you're a fan of Fangoria magazine.
Really?
Fango. Sounds like a Greek yogurt. He's like, hey, man, there's this new game that they're advertising somewhere towards the back. It's called BrainScan.
Well, it's great because this is the first horror movie that I ever experienced where Fangoria influenced the events, didn't report on the events.
Right, yeah, that's something.
Yeah, I don't know. I never read Fangoria. It was always like, I'll breeze through it at the magazine stand. And I love horror movies as much as the next person,
Sure.
but I'm not reading Fangoria. Nothing against Fangoria. Just like...
We're going to get letters now. All these...
How dare you not read Fangoria? Why don't you let up about how you didn't read a magazine?
Fangoria still exists, right, in website form, I'd wager?
Yeah, I don't know if they print.
No, I would imagine.
I mean, nobody prints anymore. Almost nobody.
It's true.
So also... you're in for a real dumb time. Like, I had no idea what this movie was. This was an Eric Siska favorite.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen this how many times?
Probably about 5.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it was on TV a ton back in the day.
Well, see, for me as a BrainScan newbie...
noob, I think is you're looking for.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
We are talking about a cyber thriller.
You're going to get letters.
Probably.
You don't say
from Noob Saibot. I believe it's actually Noob, like my name, Noob Saibot.
He's the titular noob. He's the one that started it all.
Oh, man, he's patient zero for noobs. No, it's like, and Eddie Furlong, Frank Langella, and then it's like, and some dude you've never heard from before as Trickster, and I'm like, yep, get ready to get really stupid. I don't know what this is, but that sounds really dumb.
Ryder Smith as the Trickster.
No,
think.
it's not the Trickster. That's
It's
like
just
the
Trickster?
Flash villain. This
Yeah.
dude is just Trickster.
For legal purposes, it's Trickster.
DC said we can't use it in an indefinite article, so he's just Trickster.
Just Trickster. And let me tell you, they wanted this thing to be the next Freddy Krueger.
It's so clear.
It's like Freddy Krueger meets Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah.
You know what? Remember that movie,
yeah.
Drop Dead Fred? It's terrible, right? And it's that obnoxious person's in it playing an imaginary friend.
Right.
Well, it's like that because he's a horror guy, so it's like sort of like Freddy Krueger. He's coming out of the computer instead of your dreams or whatever. But he's like cheesy, making jokes all over the place.
The problem
love
with
it.
Trickster is that he does nothing in this movie. Like
Yeah.
it's like this movie you can tell is like, oh man, Trickster T-shirts, Trickster masks, Trickster lunchboxes.
Yeah, I was gonna say masks, especially Trickster Halloween costumes.
But he doesn't affect the story. He doesn't kill anybody, and he kind of just hangs out and like.
Yeah, he's the Charles Manson of this whole thing. But he affects the story because he and this is the level of trickery this guy gets. It's ridiculous. Like
Trickstery.
Edward Furlong is just like, no, I don't want to play that game anymore. But Michael, don't you want to play again? Okay, I'll play again.
Good
Like, but-
idea.
Yeah, and it's just like stuff went bad the first time, and this guy's identified himself. He introduced himself as Trickster.
Yeah, exactly. You want to like if you're trying to fool this dumb kid, you got to be like, "Hello, my name is Honest Ed. I'm here to play a game with you."
But also, let's get into Trickster a little bit. He is a demon or something. He exists in the nether realm of some kind.
I believe he's a demon that is from a CD-ROM.
Yeah, that's the other thing. CD-ROM demon only. I don't think he's from hell.
But he has a mailing address, apparently, some sort of sorting facility where he can mail these games.
Yeah.
He has an advertising branch where he's in good with Fangoria.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not that good. The ad was somewhere towards the back.
You're right. He's got at least a P.O. box somewhere.
He's got. I think he's got at least an assistant. Oh, did you mail that BrainScan CD-ROM out today?
Come on, Jeremy. You're not going to get college credit unless all these are mailed out by the end of the day.
I see here you were the personal assistant for Trickster. Could you speak on that experience and where you want to be in 5 years?
Well, that's my biggest question about this whole movie is just the logistics of the BrainScan operation. Okay, so like this dude Kyle's like, hey man, here's this game, blah, blah, blah. And Eddie Furlong's like kind of, he's dubious about the whole thing because he's played them all. He's played all the horror games. He's seen all the horror movies. You know, he's really just like numb to the whole thing.
And we'll quickly say why he's sort of numb to the whole thing is this movie starts with him as a child crawling out of a car wreck.
Oh, yeah.
And his mom is splattered against the pavement.
I don't know. This car must have been hit by a grenade. I don't know what happened to this car.
I was like, was he in like, I don't know, the Gulf War? Like,
was
where
an
is this
IED,
car?
yeah.
It's unbelievable. So yeah, he's had like, you know, reconstructive knee surgery, so he walks with a limp, and like, you know, the whole thing is he's just a dark kid because his mom's dead and he's angry at the world,
and his dad abandoned him in
his
this
dad's
giant
like
California mansion.
Yeah, just some so-and-so businessman who's never home.
Well, he called. The only time we hear about him is he leaves a message like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going? Business is well. Hope you're good. Talk to you never again."
Yeah, like see you later, movie. But no, so he's like, all right, he's like dubious about the game, and he's Kyle's trying to convince him to do it. So the first part of like BrainScan magic in this movie is Edward Furlong is in his room, or, you know, where there's a command center because he's like kind of a hacker, and he's like, I don't know, this BrainScan sounds pretty stupid, and then like a light from the heavens comes down, and he's like kind of possessed and has a seizure for a second. Right? It's just like this rando seizure, and like he's not even hooked into the game at all. So I was like, wow, these are some mystical ass powers from BrainScan.
Right, yeah.
But we're still using the fucking post office for part of it.
Hey, Jeremy, what you need to do is possess souls that may be talking ill about BrainScan. That's your new summer assignment. And those CDs better be gone by the time I get back.
I think that's it. It's just a rink-a-dink operation. like Lucifer kicked out Trickster a while ago. Now Trickster's like trying to get in his good graces by doing evil on Earth.
I got a pretty good severance package from Lucifer. $8,000. Not bad.
Yeah, he's probably got his hands in a lot of stuff too, like junk mail, for instance.
You think Trickster's behind junk mail?
I think he annoys people.
Oh, watch this, Jeremy. None of these people requested these LL Bean catalogs, but they're getting them anyway.
The Pottery Barn for you.
So he caves, he mails in, and Trickster gets his envelope, I guess.
Jeremy, have you seen that pile of forever stamps? They were right here on my desk just yesterday afternoon.
Oh, Jeremy, you mixed up the BrainScan discs again. This one's supposed to go to South Korea, you moron.
That's actually a really good question. How many customers at a time is like BrainScan Ltd able to handle? Is the Trickster being stretched all over the world like that?
I think so. Yeah, he's got to be, right?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think this is why it's a quasi-internet thing, because you'd have to dial up. And he calls back 1-800-555-FEAR once, and it had a busy signal. So maybe Trickster was fucking with someone else at that time. And this is why, he's like, I can only handle one user at a time.
Jeremy, I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt here, but were you making personal phone calls yesterday? A customer complained about a busy signal. Now, we just can't have that here at BrainScan.
And then Jeremy's sitting there, and someone calls in, and Trickster's like, oh, I have work to do. And he walks into the computer and then walks out of this kid's television set.
Oh, I guarantee you, the second Trickster goes into that computer, Jeremy's like, fucking finally. You know what I mean?
He's not going to be back for at least 30 minutes.
He's taking an extra long lunch today.
Yeah, he can kick back, read some Fangos.
He's just got a stack of Fangos just mile high.
So the other thing, speaking of stacks mile high, Edward Furlong's a weird creep in this movie.
Oh, yeah. This is a real our hero, ladies and gentlemen. This dude is a perv and a half.
But I think you're supposed to think it's kind of sweet or something. Like,
yeah, that's the message I got when I was a kid.
This is
that's why you like this movie so much.
That's why I loved it.
Oh, hey, BrainScan's telling me it's cool to do this. He is spying. He's videoing.
That's really the egregious.
Yeah, he's
it's all egregious. But
that's too far. That's the line you never cross.
He is filming the teenage girl across the way. And this girl's getting naked in like the first scene of this movie.
Sure.
And he's just like, yeah, let's get into it. Hit record, please. But here's why the movie deems it's okay. Because she's into it. That's the trouble spot in this movie.
Yes.
This girl's supposedly all about being filmed by Eddie Furlong.
And it's gross because it's this weird message that you're sending dude, if you start filming this lady, she's gonna find it cute. She's gonna like you, man. That's how you get girls to like you.
First couple times, she's gonna start screaming and pointing at you through the window. But if you're just persistent, eventually she'll just melt like butter. And then it's a weird thing where this chick's a photographer and she's taking pictures of him, filming her.
That's bullshit. That's everybody's doing it. You know? It's just you can't really point a finger at Edward Furlong because she's doing it too.
Dude, it was 20 years before we were living in a surveillance state. These guys were ahead of the curve.
Growing up, I just thought this was normal. I didn't grow up in a neighborhood. I just thought this is what people did in neighborhoods.
Oh man, if you can see a house from your house, you can film people in it.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't see a house from my house.
Well, this camera's on my property, so I could do with it what I want.
It's right. Freedom. Goddamn, my freedom is being infringed upon.
The one thing about him being a weird hacker is he's got this phone system that's impossible.
This fucking computer phone thing.
It's a computer phone thing where he's never dialing. It's all hooked up through his computer, and he's got some somewhat sentient AI called Jeeves or
Is it
Igor.
like
It's
yeah.
Igor.
Yeah, and
yeah.
it looks like
it's
Igor.
based after the Frankenstein character, and like he's
Yes,
like,
master.
yes, master, and he's like, dial 1-800-555-FEAR. Yes, master. You hear this, yes, master, like 38 times in this movie. It's like I get it, phone system.
Master, you sure you don't want to have phone sex again tonight?
800. It's usually 900.
He's got a computer phone before anyone. Ever
Nobody
did.
was giving a fuck about. Like I
Like,
remember that.
I think people barely give a shit about Skype right now. And this kid's got it going on in 1990.
I think
94.
it's 4.
Okay, yeah.
So you're filming in 93, writing this movie in like 92 or whatever. Like, I remember the times when, it was like, oh, I can dial a number like through my computer because we have like modems or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But this movie is way before I was introduced
They
to that.
predicted it all.
And the computer could tell who's calling and will show pictures that he's got. Like he's got some like Snapchat situation going on.
It's basically the prototype for the iPhone.
Yeah,
but
like-
it's a huge computer.
Yeah, it's also a computer you can tell that he's definitely made because the monitor is like part of a TV.
Yeah.
And it's just this like big stack that's like clearly just a prop movie computer because it's like a tower, but not really. So he's like a computer genius / horror hound.
Great.
Yeah, great is right.
Yeah, well, he stays in a lot on account of the limp, I guess, is the idea.
Like a rear window-y kind of thing. Maybe that's why he's like watching this girl.
Yeah, see, Hitchcock taught him it.
John, it's all right.
It's all right. She might be murdered if I'm not watching her.
I'm protecting her. I'm making sure she's safe at night.
Now, Michael, you got to make sure your neighbor there is safe, safely attractive.
See, Michael, at the time when I was looking out the window, I was protecting a sort of faceless woman from her evil husband. But at the time, I also had Grace Kelly by my side. You got a Grace Kelly, Michael? No? Also weird thing about this kid, he runs like the horror club at school.
Yes.
And he's got this principal on his back.
Well, this horror club, I don't know if I didn't have one at school where you could just, I went to a Catholic school, so that just nixed about any kind of expression you could ever have. But like, you're just like watching horror, like R-rated movies at school. I don't think that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? Probably today with the state of this country.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And what, like this.
Just down the tubes, values down the tubes.
Obama, America. I mean, it goes on and on.
They're watching some like it appears to be some kind of like Giallo type film, maybe.
Probably
and
fake, I think.
It looks like it's a fake movie.
Well, yeah, they say the title's Death, Death, Death.
Yeah,
Part
that's
2.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fake.
That sounds like something in a Fango.
Yeah, Fango fanfic. Here's the thing about that, though, and it's laziness on the screenwriter's part. Like, it happens a lot in these movies where we're going to reference, like, a fake horror movie. The titles are always terrible.
Yes.
Like, the title of that horror movie in the Deadpool, whatever that one was.
Oh, yeah.
Hotel Satan.
yeah.
Like, fucking come on. Let's think about this just a little bit more.
Well, I could barely hear this movie because it's so high up on a soapbox about most things.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, man, these kids are watching the horror movies. Guess what happens next?
Yep.
Yeah, you just guessed. They're playing those horror video games.
Oh,
They're Resident
man.
Evils. Guess what happens next?
Yeah, this movie is a real watchdog, like the evals of like the horror community. I guess that's the thing, right? How all encompassing is this? Horror movies, horror video games, horror magazine publications. This screenwriter is taking the horror community to fucking task.
And I think we should mention the screenwriter now.
Andrew Kevin Walker, who did Seven.
Yep.
Right? And other things.
Did you do 8mm?
I believe so, yeah.
There you go.
He did Seven, and he will tell you that he did Seven.
He won't tell you he did BrainScan.
I don't know. You ever
Did
see
he
that movie
do...
Seven?
I wrote it.
Did he work on Fight Club at all?
Maybe.
I have no idea.
He might have been
I
the
don't
Fincher's
know.
guy
Might have
for a bit.
been
I'm
a
not sure, but not for a while. Now he's
Special
all
thanks.
Now he's all
I just-
sorkined out.
I think I just remember that in Fight Club, there's characters. One is Andrew, one is Kevin, one is Walker.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
maybe.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. So yeah, he's like getting into it with the principal because like the principal walks in right as this woman's like intestines are being pulled out or whatever, and this guy's like,
What is that? It's a gallbladder.
oh yeah. It's a gallbladder, Square. Would you fail biology?
We can get into fucking Edward Furlong right now. That guy's terrible. He's literally one of the worst actors. And actually, the bullshit is the director blamed him for this movie. He's like, well, it was like you had that Furlong all over my movie. You know what I mean? But no.
He's not.
He's not the reason this movie doesn't succeed.
I mean, he had a pretty good track record at the time, right? I mean, he did
Terminator. When was Pet Sematary 2?
When did Pecker come out? He was in Pecker, right?
I feel like Pecker's at 99.
Yeah, I think that's the late era.
And now he's like, just I don't know what.
There was I heard rumors that he's obese now. Is that true?
That's I don't know about obese, but I was going to say there's that flick. I think it's a Uwe Boll movie called Assault on Wall Street with some dude who I can't remember. I think it maybe was that dude who played the Punisher the second time. Contemporary Punisher.
Right.
No, maybe
Warzone.
not.
Ray Stevenson?
Yeah, it might be Ray Stevenson or just a dude who looks like Ray Stevenson. But it's just this movie about like this dude loses everything in like the fucking Great Recession, and he goes blasting his way like through this
that's something.
hedge fund or whatever. Yeah, it's real edgy. We're talking about the 2008 recession in a movie that came out like 2013.
Is he a good guy with a gun or a bad guy with a gun?
I think he's supposed to be a good guy with a gun in this movie. And anyway, Eddie Furlong is his like security guard buddy who like meets up with him at a diner or some shit. And he's kind of puffy.
Yeah, I mean, he's starring mostly in domestic assault charges these days. That's kind of what I've been noticing. But I mean, he's not good in Terminator. He's not. Nope. He's never like. It's a whiny thing, and like I can see what he kind of represents in 90s culture, like the slacker nerd,
right?
Whatever, and like that's what he's doing here. But you also kind of need to act as well.
You do kind of need to act, especially if you're in 99% of the scenes in this movie.
Yes, I mean, and honestly, this is like Shakespeare. You got to treat it with a degree of respect.
This is BrainScan, goddammit.
I'm sure the director told him that numerous times. And Trickster is just filing his nails in the background like, is this kid going to blow the scene again?
Oh, so
I got this haircut for nothing, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, can we just talk about the way this guy looks for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
It's like a punk rock Ronald McDonald kind of.
Yeah.
Like this hairdo is like this red blowout. Like it's like a bald guy sort of had a mohawk, but not really. I don't know.
And they stretch his mouth a little bit, and he's got like weird teeth. He kind of looks like he should be running afoul of Cardassians.
I was going to say his teeth, dude. He's got Ferengi teeth.
He also kind of looks like a New York doll.
Yeah.
Like you put him next to a photo of David Johansen back in the day playing the glam rock. He fits right in.
Yeah, I think Trickster headlined CB's a couple times in like 79. Oh man, Trickster
now,
prequel.
Give a round of applause for the Talking Heads. He opened for them a bunch.
Yeah, Trickster, yeah. And Jeremy can't fucking hear about it enough. It's like, oh God, I know. Please just go inside the computer.
Did you know I used to know David Byrne?
David Byrne and I got into a real scrap one evening when I made some inappropriate comments to bassist Dino Weymouth. It was a real problem, but what a great set the Heads had all the same.
We are just doing Mark Hamill Joker.
Yes,
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Put your fucking email away. I know exactly what I'm doing.
I actually don't know what I'm doing. So if you could tell me, that'd be great.
So he Jeremy, overnights it. He overnights Michael a disc from BrainScan Inc. And it's a nice branded envelope, which I appreciate, and it's like it's definitely there's thought behind it. It's like a clamshell. It's got BrainScan. Right. It's got the logo written all over it.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Trickster did a good job with the graphic design department. Yes, the graphic design department. You mean me? Doing everything around here. Jeremy is so useless. So fucking unpaid interns.
So he gets the disc and he's like, okay, cool. He notices that his lady friend's having a party across the street.
Oh, it's a party at her house?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up because I couldn't figure out just where this party was happening.
And it's very clear that this is like a comment on like kid culture. It's like he looks at it and he like looks at it wistfully and he kind of closes the window like I'm going to shut her in and jerk off for the night.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Oh yeah.
He actually even tries to call. She tries to call him at one point.
Yeah.
And when he's on BrainScan and his busy signal, because she does kind of have a crush on him, right?
Yeah.
And she's she's an attractive, like artsy, fartsy kind of girl. And the busy signal goes, "Master is busy," and it's like, oh yeah, never gonna have sex with this kid.
Yeah,
got it.
That is unsettling,
dude. And it's hilarious too because when he's getting ready to settle in for a night with BrainScan,
a BrainScan sesh, I think you call him.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah, he says to Igor, he goes, "Hey Igor, do not disturb," or something like that, or like no calls. Oh, that's Igor, no calls. Yes, master.
And then it's got like the little like lock and chain sound. Like,
yeah, because why not? You need to build that into this fake phone system. So he's settling in, and now finally in this movie, we're gonna play some BrainScan. And it's been advertised as like it's the scariest, most realistic, blabbity blow horror experience you can ever have on a CD-ROM.
And instead of like most horror games on a CD-ROM, where you're looking for a fucking key for 2 hours, it's it's this hypnotic experience into your TV. Like basically, it's the Trickster face pops up and like a light shoots out of his eyes, and like you have an hour, it seems, to kill somebody.
Right.
Right.
You're basically having a seizure the entire time.
I think that's the idea. Yeah.
But it's like ultra realistic virtual reality, I guess, is
Right.
what we're getting at.
And for the movie's purposes, that means we cut to a POV.
Yes.
Of it's Eddie Furlong. You can tell because he's got his like black chucks on, and he's just like walking through a yard or something, and like Trickster's narrating everything, and he's just like, "Go to the gate, open the gate,
The other gate.
yeah. Oh, we're going to be here all night."
Well, the best thing is he goes into a kitchen and he's like, "Choose your weapon." And there's like this like decorative red peppers that I kind of wanted him to pick up.
Oh, not the red peppers again.
Really, Michael? The peppers?
Oh, I've chosen to haunt a real novice.
I opened for the peppers once. But I'm glad you mentioned that sequence because holy Toledo, there is just a butcher knife hanging from the ceiling in this kitchen. That is not a safe place to put your cutlery.
No, it's one of these things where it's like, over the stove or whatever, where you hang like pots and pans, and that's around it. But then it's just like 4 spoons and a huge knife. And you're just like, well, I wonder which one he's going to select.
I hope I don't bump my head on anything.
It's so precarious.
Or an earthquake, 'cause it's California. My God.
Right. Yeah, it's riddled with those.
So he selects the knife, and then it's walk upstairs, Michael. He's also like, we're doing this like Hamill Joker thing because it's fun. This dude's kind of trying to do a Pinhead a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's very Pinhead,
especially during this like the game narration.
Yeah,
and so walk upstairs, Michael. That's right. Now go through the door. Oh, that's right. You're almost there, Michael.
The other door, Michael.
Oh, God damn it. I keep having to break my scary voice.
It's just like, again, if it was a CD-ROM, it's like, go into the library, Michael. You'll find some interesting notes in there.
Be sure to read the index, Michael. It tells you everything you need to know about everything you need to know. Hope you like reading, Michael.
Keep scrolling.
Check the floor.
You're doing it now, Michael. You're reading.
Oh, don't you think those statues could move? Maybe try that for a while. That might open a door or something.
Dude, helpful hints from these kind of video games are great because I always imagine them getting frustrated with the player. So then he's like, Do you see that lonely fat man sleeping? Do it, Michael. Kill him now. And whatever, he fucking stabs this dude.
Stabs him in the back, and then he kind of runs around and breaks up his apartment.
It's like a cartoon ate a bunch of hot sauce. This guy's like, my back! And he's like running into bookshelves and tripping over the bed. It's a little bit outrageous.
And he's like, now you need a trophy, don't you, Michael?
This is so stupid.
And he cuts off his foot with a butcher knife like you would cut off a fucking piece of ham from a fucking ham hock.
Dude, just right through it like nothing. Just through that bone, not even working at it. You know what, movie? You want to make this like a real harrowing experience? I need a shot of Eddie Furlong really just working it, putting his elbow into it.
How about working it and it's been like an hour and he isn't cut
He's
through it?
sweating.
Oh, Michael, how about an ear or a nose? Keep it simple.
This boy thinks he can cut through a bone with a butcher knife.
One thing I want to talk about, because it doesn't make any sense, is the mechanics of the game. So he kills him and he kind of gets sucked out of the Matrix. And
Right.
like the thing is, BrainScan or Trickster is like, all right, you've got 1 hour. And if within 1 hour you won't get, if you don't do it within 1 hour, you'll lose the game and you won't get the next disc.
Right.
And the consequences of which, like usually in any movie ever, you know, when there's rules clearly laid out, like, oh, if you stay on the path, if you go off the path, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
We usually see that. You know what I mean? Like that's
You
a
want to see the
thing.
penalty.
Yeah, and that never ever happens. He always does it just in time.
Yeah, what a great thing. This character succeeding and playing by all the rules of the game. How exciting.
He gets sucked back into his thing and he drinks a huge gross glass of milk that's just been sitting there.
Let me tell you, there's like we just saw this kid cut off a foot from this dead fat guy. But the most disgusting part of this movie is watching Eddie Furlong chug milk because he's like, wow, that was so intense. Like he still believes it's a game. And he like shoves part of a sandwich in his mouth. And then he's glugging this milk and it's going all over his face, all over his metal t-shirt that he's got on. And it's disgusting. No one should ever chug dairy products. Go-Gurt, whatever. No, thank you.
No. Not even a White Russian. You got to sip it.
Oh, you got to sip that White Russian. Guaranteed.
The next day, he goes to the girl. Is she Kimberly? Did I make that?
Yes, Kimberly.
Okay. He goes to Kimberly's house because he killed somebody last night. He's feeling pretty good about himself. You know.
Is this before? Oh no, yeah, it is. Okay, sorry.
So like,
Killing people helps your confidence.
It does.
Just people out there. So
I just killed a guy last night. Now I'm gonna go ask out Kimberly.
It's sort of like, what do you have to be afraid of anymore?
You already defeated death and became God.
Mm-hmm.
And while he's waiting for her in her living room, he sees a news report where, oh my God, that actually, when you die in the game, you die for real. Like,
Right.
He actually did kill somebody last night.
Can we mention briefly Kimberly's parents?
Yes.
Oh man, you know what? I think if he hadn't rang that doorbell, one of the two of them was about to ask for a divorce. Like the dad was just like, ding dong, fuck.
He's like reading a gigantic book in the most 90s living room I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, it's a Patterson for sure.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and he's also like the dude gets here's why I think they're on the verge of divorce, because they both look at each other like, you gonna get that fucking door or
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
And the dad's just like,
It's last straw time, and it's that fucking doorbell again.
Yeah, and so like he opens this door and it's just like, oh good, a boy's here who wants to fuck my daughter. Hey honey, look who's here. Oh great, teenagers.
Oh, it's that creep from across the street, Mr. Camera Cam. How's it going, Mr. Camera Cam?
And yeah, before Kimberly can get downstairs, which is great because they're like, hey, Kimberly, someone's here to see you. No response. I think she's taking a nap. Like, you don't even see her in this scene. But yeah, it comes up like, this dude was actually murdered in the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. And like Eddie Furlong starts like getting the murder sweats and he's got to get out of there. It's like, tell Kimberly I'll call her later. Eddie Furlong. Get.
Oh my God, I killed someone.
Oh my goodness.
This is when Trickster comes out of the TV and starts hoo-hawing all over this fucking movie. And he's the worst. It's my favorite sequence of the movie. So he's like, comes out. There's a lot about Trickster. I know we're comparing to a lot of things. He's a little Encino Man, kind of. There's a little Encino Man going on in this movie. So he picks it out. And he's like, what are these CDs? Garbage. And he's like, He's like, oh, I've got something that's really going to blow your mind. And he pulls the CD out of his, out of his coat. And you're like, oh my God, it's going to be like devil music or like ritual chanting. It's Primus.
Yeah, just turns out Trickster's a fan of Primus. Why not? Hey, why not? And he's just dancing around the room, just like, oh, Primus is fantastic. Didn't you love killing someone last night?
You know, I kind of influenced Primus with my early stuff. A couple of my boots made it out to Primus's warehouse.
And what does he say? He's like, you gotta like get rid of the trophy, or that's what he was saying to him in the game. Like, take a trophy, Michael.
Yeah,
you know. And so he goes to the freezer, and there's the fucking foot, man. And you know, this is what's great. Is they make it so that this dude has a tattoo on his foot.
Yeah.
As if for when we get to this scene, he would open the fridge and just see a tattoo-less foot and be like, well, was that the foot I cut off in the game, or is this a different severed foot? Like, you don't need that tattoo.
No.
A foot in the freezer says it all. Yes. Stupid detail fucking foot tattoo.
You know, that guy does not look like the foot tattoo type.
No, he does not. Not in the slightest.
Oh man, what if he was like a Hell's Angel, and now the fucking angels are coming after this kid too?
That's what I want to see.
Suddenly, this movie got interesting.
You get a bunch of angels like riding around his house.
Oh yeah, come on out, kid.
Oh, Michael, we've killed the wrong man. Goodbye.
Yeah,
he just jumps into the TV.
Game over for me.
Oh, I'm not fucking with the Hell's Angels, Michael. I'd
but
rather fuck with a real angel than a Hell's Angel.
Instead of any cool biker gang mischief, he just goes into the woods to bury this foot, and this dog starts giving him trouble. Dude, I was wondering, and this is a total BrainScan fan theory.
Sure,
that
please.
I have. Is this dog also the Trickster? Because this appears to be a real knowing pooch.
Sure.
I don't think so.
No,
I think
it's a real mischievous pup.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a mischievous pup. I think it's just supposed to be like, oh, what's the worst that could happen when you're trying to bury meat or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the dog's
This
coming.
German Jerry Lee comes out of the woodwork and just runs away with it.
The more fantastical thing than the dog here is the owner. He's like a fat guy in a tracksuit who's like, can't see anything. Like Edward Furlong is laying in the ditch with a severed foot. His dog is on top of him. And he's like, oh, that's nothing over there. Come on. Come on.
I was like, where is this dude's sunglasses? Because he's clearly blind. Like, how does he not see this little turd laying on the ground 3 feet in front of him?
It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up.
And at this point, he's really freaking out. So he starts staying home from school, right? And his buddy, Kyle, is like, hey, man, you done with BrainScan yet? Can I play BrainScan? Hey, can I play BrainScan?
Bro, I want to borrow your BrainScan.
And Trickster's like, there's a witness. Oh, so you were seen. You weren't as good as you thought you were, Michael, even though you were brilliant. And he's all jerking off about how I don't know. I mean, like, he just killed one dude. It's not that great.
Yeah, whatever. This dude was like alone in the house. Like,
Yeah.
I'm real impressed. Way to overdo it with the praise, Trickster.
And you know, he doesn't even have a theme or a motif. He just took the foot for what reason? I don't know.
Yeah.
He should have cut his kneecap off or something.
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't have one carved.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
And Trickster's like, you gotta play level 2 or else you're gonna go to jail, right? And like, I'm gonna send you. All right.
By the way, ignore my name for this portion.
I'm totally honest with you. He keeps getting fucking scammed by a guy named Trickster day in and day out. He's like, Trickster, you said he always has this thing where it's like, I'm going to go to the cops. And he's like, oh, that's fine, Michael. But, you know.
Due to the nature of this agreement, what with me coming out of your television and all, I don't think it's going to fly. And he's like, all right. And he thinks he's going to be smooth here. The second time, like when he plays round 2, he starts filming himself.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, way to turn the camera on you, kid, instead of this poor girl across the street. And he's like, hi, my name's Michael. I'm 16 years old, and I'm scared. It's the funniest fucking thing.
But it's also like the bullshit is they change, like, when the first time happens and you go to a POV shot, you think that's what BrainScan is. Every time he does it, he's going to go in. It's going to be POV. That way, we know we're playing BrainScan and not doing whatever.
Exactly.
He just blacks out.
Yep.
And you don't know what happens.
And he just wakes up like seconds later, like, "Wow, oh, that was crazy. Let's check the videotape." And it's like he has the seizure, and then he gets up and walks away, and like so he's freaking out. And I was like, why couldn't we see this?
Yes.
Like, what are you trying to keep secret? It's not that he murdered his friend. It's never like a did he actually do it? Because seconds later, they're like, so Kyle was murdered last night. And you're like, all right, well, yeah, I know. Why couldn't I see that? Is it a fucking deleted scene? Like,
yeah, maybe. I mean,
keep the logistics of how I'm going to look at your dumb VR game the same.
For sure. And yeah, I want to see, this is a movie without a huge body count.
Right.
And I would like to see that little turd with, because like the funny thing is like he's so his best friend. Like every time he like hangs up the phone with him, he's like, buddies forever.
It's so weird.
Forever.
Best buds for life, right?
You're never going to kill me, right, Michael?
Michael, come on, say it. I'm not going to hang up till you say it. Michael, say it. Best buddies forever, right? Best buddies?
And now
Hello?
The video of him getting up out of the chair confirms, yes, I am going out and murdering people whenever I play this game. It's not a game. I'm not watching the TV. Or whatever.
You kill in the game, you kill for real.
Yeah.
And you know what, dude? Fool me once, Trickster, shame on you. Fool me twice, Trickster, shame the fuck on me.
Exactly right.
I think because of the Trickster, this kid has gone out in the house more, like way more. He's actually doing him a favor.
Dude, he's only going to school and then coming home. And with the help of Trickster, he's getting out there. He's meeting new people.
A little fresh air.
Yeah. And some exercise, just sawing off that foot.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing is his trophy the second time isn't his friend's foot. Because I guess he doesn't have a foot fetish, but he's got
they should be go all feet or no feet.
Yes, exactly.
Or at least keep it within the realm of cutting off body parts.
Yes.
Not just his dumb like arrowhead necklace or whatever it is.
Right, yeah, his lucky charm.
But you know what he does keep consistent? Putting that shit in the freezer for whatever reason. Because he opens the freezer back up. He's like, boy, I hope it's not another foot, Terminator. And it's just this necklace, and he's like, "Oh no, that necklace!
It has blood on it.
Yes, it does have blood on it.
So we could clone Kyle for best buds forever. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe Trickster can help me clone my dead best buddy." Whatever. So he's pretty peeved that the Trickster,
and he's like, "Oh, you tricked me, Trickster! Kyle didn't witness anything." And he's like, "Well, he knew about BrainScan. He read that Fango, didn't he?"
But then it's like I'm calling some bullshit on your logic here, Trickster, because you put that ad in Fango somewhere towards the back. But so what? You're just going to go around eliminating all the people that read the ad?
This is just the trick, right? You know, he wants to fuck with Michael,
right?
To that degree. Like, there's no reason Kyle had to die.
Yeah, he just wanted him to go.
Yeah,
I had my fingers crossed that he was going to go. Just being honest about it.
This is the saddest and scariest part of the movie.
Oh, really?
Is Edward Furlong's only friend now is Trickster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What? Like, sorry, I just this social circle is pretty small.
Yeah, and his dad's too busy slinging coke in Mexico, so he's not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, like whatever. You know what I think it might be? I think he's with David Morse and the Good Son over in Tokyo doing whatever that deal was.
Oh, right, yeah. Shady business.
Yeah, some shady shit, dude. I think that's what's happening. Yeah,
Michael, I can't. It's going to be a few more days. The Yakuza has demanded another meeting.
So enter in the father figure of this movie, a snoozing on cruise control, Frank Langella. Wow. Yeah, Frank Langella is one of those actors where I'm like, Frank Langella is great in everything. And then I watch Frank Langella in most things, and I'm like, oh, he's just tired again.
He's got his days, and he's got his days.
Yeah, and so he's playing Detective Rip Van Winkle. And
well, he keeps bumping into Michael, like. The first thing I think is like an auto rack, and he's like, "Get out of here, kid. Go play Go play your video games.
That was a confusing thing because it's like Eddie Furlong's coming home and he's got like a little scooter, and I was like, oh look, he's on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
again.
another dirt bike.
But no, he just pulls up and it's like this murder scene, and they're like getting a body into a bag, and I was like, is this related to The Thing? Or no, this is just it's just a rando death in this neighborhood. Okay.
Then the next time he goes to the fat guy's house and he's like, fool me twice, kid. You know, he's just like there again.
I told you to scram last time, kid.
Didn't I see you at this town's last brutal murder?
And then what's her name? Kimberly comes by because she's so in love with this fucking creep that's been taping her. One of the creepiest scenes is like him trying to call her and he's watching video of her while he's trying to call her.
Yes.
Ew.
Oh, you never did that?
Never.
Dude, and it's even weirder because he times it just so.
Yeah.
So when like she picks up the phone, he's like, Igor, hang up.
Yes, small stuff.
And
she can hear, yes, master. So, I mean,
you know who
really
it was.
Yeah, this is creep
It's
city.
either Michael or Kyle called her, one or the other.
And, you know, she comes over with all the school books because he stopped going to school because he's all upset about murdering a lot of people. And Kimberly's like, hey, I got all your assignments. And he's like, wow, that's really great. Oh, man.
You should go.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
She also has
Yeah.
a piece of paper a petition that Kyle was getting together to bring back the horror club.
You're going to feel like a real heel when that happens.
And his friend that he just murdered, and at the bottom, this is where you know Kyle's a real loser. At the bottom of the petition, Kyle had written, "Best buds forever."
But he also called her and was like, I think he's mad at me. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it was weird because also the thing we didn't mention was like Kyle comes over. He's like, "Let me play BrainScan, best bud," and he's like, "Get away! I've got mono." And like they kind of have a fight or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like kicks him out the house. So yeah, she's like, "Yeah, Kyle called me. It was weird because we've never spoken on the phone before, but he said you guys had a fight." And here's the petition to bring back the horror club.
Speaking of the horror club, I just remembered a great part of this movie. Fantastic. One of my favorite moments.
please.
That was with the principal yelling at him about the horror club.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember some of this dialogue that's like what is it with these horror movies? Is it like lighting a marijuana cigarette and saying goodbye to the world?
Oh, and then
Is it like
next one's better?
Getting an erection and raping somebody?
No, watching pornography, getting an erection, and going out and raping somebody.
You're a school administrator.
The connections that this principal's making. Holy Toledo.
You know what? You want to poo-poo marijuana cigarettes? That's fine. You want to poo-poo pornography? That's fine. Don't poo-poo erections.
Dude, leave boners out of it, okay? Come on.
But you bring a student into your office and you're talking about erections and raping people.
Dude, even Edward Furlong's like, the erection didn't rape the woman, and the dude did. Wait, what?
Get him, Terminator. That made no sense. It's like, what did the principal just talk to you about there? I don't know, like boners and joints and rape. It was really weird. He was yelling a lot.
And then the Terminator grabs this principal. It was not the boner. The boner did not pull that job. It was the man.
Also, he's gonna lose. You lose your job. You say the word erection to a student.
Yep.
Like, unless you're repeating it.
Well, unless you're in the
not
sex
your
ed
job.
class. If you're the sex ed teacher,
Yeah.
you can't just be talking about hard dicks without context.
No, absolutely not.
Within a minute, you talk about marijuana, rape, erections, pornography to a student.
Yep.
No, you're out on your ass.
No, exactly.
I'm glad we just got that covered.
Yes, and speaking of erections, he's got one now because she's like, so I could hang out and we could hang out. And he's like, oh man, there's another BrainScan disc. You gotta get out of here, girl. And she's like, are you sure? Because like the train's leaving the station. And he kicks her out like, oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah, get out of my house.
Well, to be fair, though, the last thing you want to do is finally be able to hook up with your long-lost, unrequited love.
Uh-huh.
And then Trickster shows up. And he's like, oh, yeah, Michael, that's the stuff.
No, the other one, Michael. You know what I'm talking about.
You've got less than an hour, Michael. Come on.
You've got time, teenage boy.
But at the same time, take that risk, and I'll tell you why. Because you might be going down for a double homicide.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. Like, and the other thing is, it's not like he put disc 3 in.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And the H is O. Like, he's got to insert this horror disc into his CD-ROM.
Well, the thing is, like, Trickster at some point just starts hanging out in his house.
Yeah.
Well, no,
just eating his fucking groceries.
That's when he starts Encino Manning, because he's like eating like raw chicken and like.
That's the moment I thought of Drop Dead Fred. The Trickster's got the munchies, and he's just eating. He's like, yeah, he's just munching on this raw chicken, and this actor is doing a terrible job at pretending he's eating a raw chicken. He's like kind of just like putting his face up to it and not biting or anything.
And he's got like hot dogs and bananas and all
and
sorts
he's
of
putting
shit.
mustard on it. It's like a scene from Hook.
He is
disgusting.
He does belong in that version of Netherland with his haircut.
Dude, I think him and Rufio have the same haircut.
They might. Oh, you don't even remember anymore, Peter. I'm going to go form a crooked video game company.
Then I'll show you who can really fly, Pan. So he kicks this girl out, possibly to never lose his virginity ever.
And this is when he's like, all right, Trickster, I'm going to play the game one more time, man. And you better not play any tricks on me.
And this is the most disgusting thing, because he's like, he's like, I'm not going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And like the Trickster cuts Eddie Furlong's hand open, and the blood falls onto a like stack of magazines or something. And then the blood like swirls around and makes a CD. Now, here's the thing, Trickster. If you can do that, why are we using the Postal Service? Because when he sees the third disc, he like smashes it.
Yes.
Like he kicks Kimberly out and he smashes it and whatever. And he's like, oh, thought you destroyed my CD-ROM, huh?
He's running around the office. Jeremy, did you get a delivery confirmation on that?
I told you to shell out for the insurance and tracking ability. What are you doing? Trying to run a fucking business, Jeremy. A fucking child could do it.
I got a whale here. We're on disc 3. I've never gotten to disc 3.
The Koreans always throw it out after 2.
It's kind of a big deal.
And no one's ever been dumb enough to get to disc 3.
Jeremy, you keep talking about wanting a Christmas party. The only way we're going to get to Christmas here at BrainScan Ltd. is if you buck up and get him to play disc 3. How can there be no fucking tracking? You want that bonus at Christmas, Jeremy? Buck up!
I swear to God, your desk is an absolute train wreck. This is disgusting. Those Doritos are from yesterday, Jeremy.
Now let me eat my raw chicken in peace.
Put on Primus.
Yeah, so he starts playing this game.
He does.
Again.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know what. There's a separate movie going on where a werewolf is on the loose, because we cut to it's Frank Langella, and he's like, all right, Neighborhood Watch. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, let's break into teams. They're looking for some. I don't know what they're even looking for,
because they believe that like a killer is just running around the town, much like a werewolf.
Exactly,
yeah,
like,
totally
that's
right.
not how killers work. They don't like stalk around the town like killers. They look a lot like people until they murder people.
And he gives this big speech about like, anyone out there with firearms, I catch you, whether or not you use them, I'm going to take it away from you and arrest you. It's the best thing. Is like, I was like, I'm going to take your Game Boy from you and put it in my drawer, and you can get it at the end of the year.
Do you think he was hunting monsters before he went to this new beat?
I don't
Frank
know.
Langella, like Monster Hunter?
Maybe he was part of like Hellboy's team.
He could have been.
Why not?
I just don't know what the purpose of this hunt is. Like, you get these fucking these small towners who've lost 2 people. A kid is dead now. Now we're in.
This is when they all become worry warts.
Yes.
And they're like, I'm staying out on my porch all night to make sure there are no killers coming by.
And you're like, you know what a good idea is? Let me mobilize these people. Let me get them good and drunk and get them on the streets.
Exactly. It's the monsters are due on fucking Maple Street, dude. And let's give all these hicks this heightened sense of importance to get out there and kill this killer.
Maybe Frank Langella's like, it'll draw a lot of victims on the streets. It'll draw them out.
Yeah.
I don't understand what he's even trying to do. And
as far as we know, like, he's not the paranormal police. He's just a detective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
as far as we know.
But so if you're not a licensed werewolf hunter, how are you getting the approval of, like, the town police department?
No.
To deputize these people?
Why not just have more, get 2 more squad cars just going around?
Yeah, where are the actual cops? If you're a detective, that means there's other police in this town.
Bring in the Stadies.
Yeah, go to the state police if you need to. Shit, bring in the FBI if you think it's getting that serious. Not these fucking, weekend couch quarterbacks.
And it goes terribly.
Oh, yes, it sure does.
So BrainScan Trickster is like, what? There's evidence at Kyle's house. You really botched it last night. Too bad we didn't see it. So you gotta get over there and fix it. So he's like, all right, you've got only 30 minutes for this disc.
Do you see how this game's getting harder, Michael? Now there's only 30 minutes.
So he puts the disc in. And again, like, BrainScan happens every time we do like a weird slide beginning of Fight Club Vortex.
It is the Sliders slide graphic just made to look blood red.
And now we're just watching Eddie Furlong do stuff.
Yeah, total like third person camera. It's just him, like just any old scene in the movie.
And he's totally aware of his actions, so it's not even like he's in a BrainScan trance anymore. Like, why even put the disc in to do this?
Exactly. It makes no sense. He's like, all right, I put the CD-ROM in. Igor, keep things all right here. I have to go out now.
I'm going to grab my coat and I'm going to walk out the door.
Like, at least the first 2 times you know that he's in some sort of weird, like, demonic trance and he's not responsible for his actions at least a little bit. But now he's just, like, literally, like, puts a disc in it, like, it's... Yeah.
And the mission is
now you're just wasting electricity, really. You're leaving the fucking TV on, running that computer.
There's only so much E-Star conservation I can do. You have to turn this off when you leave.
Master, Con Edison is calling. Con Edison.
Do not disturb, Igor. I've been ducking him for weeks.
Oh, also, now I'm glad I'm giving myself a time limit. Bye. Bye. Give yourself an artificial... Just do things.
So the whole thing is he's got to go over to Kyle's house because apparently he killed him at his house. We don't see it. We don't know how Kyle died, but he stomped through a rose garden and the footprints, he's worried they'll be able to tell that it's a person who has a limp and Eddie Furlong's got the limp. So he's got to go over there and just dust off the dirt or whatever, level it out.
But it's already been marked. The pictures are there. Like, there's nothing you could do.
Too late, yeah. Definitely too late.
And they're not going to bring that soil into the courtroom and be like, there it is.
Yeah, they already took pictures of it. Like, if you had to duck under the police tape, they already took pictures of it. So he goes to do this, and, like, Frank Langella's, he's got a detective partner who is a real just nothing character. He's not even dressed like a police detective.
I think the only real line is when Frank Langella yells at him for driving too slow.
Oh, yeah. That's the moment in this movie where they try to, like, make them, like, characterize them as partners.
He's like banter.
Yeah, he's like, what are you standing on that side of the car for? And Langella is like, because I'm sick and tired of you driving 20 miles an hour or whatever. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about it.
No, it's too little too late.
So that dude's over there just by himself in the dark, dusting for prints, just totally alone.
While the whole town goes mad.
Well, we're on the mad monster hunt.
Yeah,
like, so Langella's handling that part of the moment.
He hears Furlong. And he's like, "Oh, I better go out on the streets and catch this kid."
Right.
I'm an authorized police officer.
There's also a moment when it was soon after Kyle got murdered that Edward Furlong calls Kyle.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he's like, Kyle,
Oh yeah, like Langella picks up the phone and doesn't say anything, and he, he's just like, Kyle, pick up the phone, please be alive, please be okay, and he's like, who is this?
Answer me now.
I have you here, please answer, and he just hangs up on him. So there. By the way, we should mention that Langella is really pretty sure that Eddie Furlong's doing the killing,
Right, and he eventually does get handed some paper. It's like, turns out that kid did make the call.
Oh, because at one point, he burns some clothes in the fire, and they find some blood from that dude on it.
He's well fucked at this point.
Exactly
anyway.
right.
And he's like, oh, now he's on the run because the cop starts chasing him. So he goes out to the streets, and luckily there's teams and teams and teams of there's teams and teams and teams of
neighborhood watch dudes.
Yes. Yeah. And he gets. It's this fucking perverted principal's wet dream because he bumps into him and he's like,
oh, now I've got you, Michael. Oh, now it's Bobby Boner. Hello, Bobby Boner. You got a jazz cigarette on you, porno addict? Out raping, I see.
And he's like, he's grabbing him. He's like, I got him. And he's like on the walkie-talkie, like, I got him. And he slips out. And it's like an action figure commercial. Remember how that used to happen? So basically he slips out and he causes a bunch of bricks to fall on this dude.
It's like when you're trying to advertise in the commercial, like the play set, and it's like, you can go to this area, you can go to this one, look out for the bricks falling. It's like a play set of a construction site, which I wouldn't have any interest of that as a child. But so this dude's crushed to death.
Yep, it's pretty good. You don't get to see the aftermath too much. You just see a bunch of bricks on a body.
He's laying there with some dust on his face, I think is the most you get. But you're like, wow, what a disaster, Frank Langella. It sure can't get any worse for you. Then, the partner's like, hey, I've been chasing that kid. And then, this dude turns around with this shotgun, and the cop draws his firearm, what the fuck are you doing? And this neighborhood watch guy blows this partner away, shoots him dead.
And there's a bunch of them standing there with their hat in their hands,
oh, gee, gosh, we're sorry, Mr. Langella.
And he's like, does somebody want to explain to me what the hell happened here?
Oh, my God. The best part is then Michael sees his window to escape
he's
the
like,
chaos.
Yo, gotta get out of here.
So he's walking away, and then just some fat local cop with a mustache grabs him. He's like, hey, kid, what are you doing? What are you doing? They just shot the killer over there. Go on home.
It's amazing. And also,
my buddy Rex just shot the killer.
In keeping with Frank Langella's refusal to get other police officers involved, that dude isn't a cop because on his arm it clearly just says security guard.
Yeah.
So it's like we'll get uniformed Paul Blarts out here, but we refuse to call any other police officers.
Do you think that guy was just part of the neighborhood watch and he was just like, well, I am a security guard, I might as well wear my uniform?
Guaranteed he was like, honey, there's a reason to wear this outside the mall.
Great.
I'll be in watching Wheel of Fortune. Enjoy. Have fun with your neighborhood watch.
I just got this BrainScan DVD. You go on. Or CD, I apologize.
What's a DVD? And then
it's a learning computer.
The other line that Langella has is great. He goes, which one of you's gonna go tell his wife?
No, not that. Which one of you is going to get the chair for killing this guy?
Exactly right. And also, which one of you is going to let Frank Langella stay at your house when he gets fired and loses everything for this totally insane operation?
I hope you don't mind. I've been washing my socks in your sink till I get back on my feet.
Kind of lost it all there.
Wow, this is rock bottom.
You know, when I assembled the neighborhood watch, I didn't know I'd spend the rest of my days watching the neighborhood just from the couch here.
Oh, I thought, well, hold on, leave the body out. He's going to burn up in the sunlight like a vampire. Oh, wait, he didn't. Now I'm well and fucked.
Well, that was sort of my last hope. He was actually a vampire, and I'd be vindicated. Nope.
Shit. Guess I'm washing my socks here from now on.
Could you let me know what your shower schedule is? Because I get up pretty early.
And mind giving me a little more room in that freezer? Somewhere to put my lean cuisines.
I really appreciate this. It's only going to be another few weeks. I promise. I promise. Heard word of a werewolf 2 towns over. Might have a gig coming up pretty soon.
No, I haven't been drinking in the afternoon. Why do you ask?
I just don't see why I have to shave every day now. I mean,
those were your wife's underwear. So
they smelled good. Don't worry.
What? Oh, yesterday when I said I had a job interview, you just watched me go into the garden and drink. I thought you had work of your own.
I thought those dishes being done was a sign of me trying to pull my own weight. I guess I was wrong.
You could view that as a compliment there. I was admiring the garden. It was very, very beautiful.
So we have level 4 now. This is the final level of BrainScan.
Okay.
Nobody's gotten this far.
Okay, Jeremy. You better ship it today, because it's Thursday, which means it'll get there on Monday. Because it's not going to I'm not paying for Saturday delivery, Jeremy.
What's that? What? Jeremy? No, it's not my job to look at the calendar. How could you not have known it was Columbus Day? There's no mail. There's no mail, Jeremy. There's no mail.
We're at level 4 here. We've never been to level 4 before.
Fucking Tuesday now. Tuesday.
Michael, why don't you play a different game today?
Here you go. Road rash. You can thank Jeremy.
Well, yes, you could obviously go kill someone without the game, but it's the point.
Can't you see the murdering part isn't over yet? Save it for BrainScan.
I'm really sorry, Michael. I really am. It's just, I'm sick over the whole thing. Fucking Columbus Day. Some calendars have it, some don't.
I don't know why you'd want to worship a genocidal Italian anyway. It's a stupid reason to close the post office.
Do you think that Christopher Columbus brain scanned?
Oh, yeah.
Like Trickster was there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
All you have to do, Christopher, is give them these blankets. They'll take care of the rest.
Oppress the whole island.
So he's like, the last thing you got to do is kill Kim, because of course you got to kill Kim.
Well, she sees him come in the night before after he murders his principal.
Right. And so she's all like, hey, you want to come inside and experiment? And he's like, no, I got to go home and play more BrainScan. I want to play Body Scan with you, but I got to play BrainScan with stupid tricksters ruining my life.
Okay.
Wow. Way to kill my social circle, Trickster. Who are you talking to? Shut up, Kimberly.
So he has to put the disc in.
Why are we still fucking around? At this point, you know what's on that CD-ROM? A timer. It's just you put the disc in and a timer comes up and it says 15 minutes.
So he runs over to Kimberly's house. And like the weird thing is he's like, you better kill Kimberly. He's like, I can't. I love her, which gross.
Yep. You
don't
totally
love her, you weird ass.
Jeez, I'd give you cooties if you loved her. You don't want that, right, Steve?
Yes.
No,
I mean, it's
cooties are
the reason not to kill someone shouldn't be, but I love her, man. It should be like, oh no, that's wrong.
It's a person and I shouldn't kill anybody.
Well, he had no parents at all, so he had no one taught him a frame of reference for right or wrong,
right.
which
Broken
makes
home.
makes
Broken
him
home.
quick prey for a demonic glam rocker from the computer. That's why when someone says ASL, you say, no thanks, buddy. And you take a walk.
Yeah, you do.
Internet safety. Don't go surfing without a buddy.
Yeah.
So he goes to her house, and of course, by the way, we should bring up at this point, every kid's room in this movie has an Aerosmith poster. The same Aerosmith poster.
That's how you know this is a fucking fantasy world. How many kids were in love with Aerosmith?
In 94, man. It's not 1978.
And it's all from that album that Eddie Furlong's in the video from one of the songs. And you're just like, who?
Do you think that's why it's up there?
Yeah, because they're buds. They're best buds forever.
You gotta, hey man, I'll do this movie, but you need that Aerosmith up there.
I told Steven Tyler the next movie I'm in, Aerosmith posters are going to be everywhere.
Well, Aerosmith was involved in Terminator 2 as well.
Were they?
Was there a song on the soundtrack?
I believe so.
They don't make an appearance.
No. Oh my God, that would turn there. I have to go to this Aerosmith concert.
Wow, they are really rocking out now.
I don't know. Steven Tyler looks a little subdued. He may be the T-1000.
I'm analyzing the crowd for boners. There's a boner. Oh, that's not a boner.
Oh, you know what? I don't think that they were involved. They might not have been involved in Terminator, but I think I'm mixed up. Remember that Aerosmith video game that happened?
Yes, that was sort of much like that Terminator 2 video
yes,
game.
Right.
That's
It was a
crossing the
side
memory
scroll
streams.
where the controller was like a fucking automatic weapon.
Right, yeah.
I
and
think
you,
the
like-
Aerosmith game was sort of similar for some reason. Yeah, I
think
remember
you're
what
right.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there's Aerosmith posters all over this movie. His room, Kimberly's room. I think the principal's office had a couple. And so he go, and this is what's kind of weird. It's like you don't want to kill her, but you go over there anyway. What does the trickster say to him?
Well, he picks up. I think he does want to kill her. Like he's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to go to jail.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill her. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill her. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill her.
I think BrainScan like goes into your subconscious a bit, so I think it's forcing.
Oh, he's
him
like a little
to-
pre-programmed. You
Yeah,
think?
a little
I
bit.
see. Yeah.
So now that's the final act, and he goes into her room, and she's sleeping. The way that this movie's very exploitative of this girl, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
This camera loves her.
Before he even goes over to the house, like he's back across the street arguing with Trickster about whatever. It cuts to this chick, and it's like thighs up to her open pajama shirt, and you can see her bra. And I was like, what's going on? And she's just asleep. And then it cuts back to like, shut up, Trickster. Fine, I'll do it. And he goes over.
Well, he's kind of mad at her for some weird reason. Like she works for the school paper or something.
Yes.
And like when she came over the first time, she like used some pull quotes because like he was Kyle's best friend. And he's like, how could you do this to me, Kimberly? And she's like, you've been filming me for years without my consent. It's like, yeah, but that's okay, and this is not.
Because
This is an invasion of privacy.
That's for me jerking off. I'm not putting it in a school paper, Kimberly.
And she apologized. Like, I'm sorry.
She
She's like,
blames a friend. Like another friend used the quote.
who
or
I'd like to
something.
call deleted scene Stacy because she comes up later in the movie and it's like, Stacy made me do it. And I'm like, who? And like, definitely there's a Stacy C plot that you don't get to see.
I think there's a BrainScan director's cut somewhere.
I would
with
love to
all
see
sorts
it.
of missing levels.
So he goes over there and because I think he's a little pissed about that. And he's like, but I'm also a creep.
Yeah.
So, and also this is kind of what happens when you don't call the police on your stalker. By the way, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of your responsibility.
They'll be standing in your bedroom with a butcher knife eventually.
Yeah, it's your responsibility as the stalkie once you find out to
Right.
put a stop to that shit.
Right. So anyone listening, I know what's going on.
And
you know
should
who
go to
you know who you are.
So he's just kind of like watching her for a bit, not doing anything, and then
she's sleeping.
But then this is when we find out, because the rules of this movie are not set.
Nope.
The trickster can just like bop over to this chick's house too
Boop,
for
boop,
some
bop.
reason.
He boop boop zop.
He boop boop bopped over there, man.
Boop bop, man.
And it's not even like he has to. It's not even like he needs the BrainScan TV or any kind of TV. Like
No,
he's
he
just
just
transporting.
shows
Like
up.
he's got a.
Oh, now Kimberly doesn't have a CD-ROM.
Jeremy, that was supposed to be delivered last week. We knew the final stage would be taking place in Tiffany's bedroom.
Jeremy, I can't go into the bedroom.
We were going to use the AOL free 100 hours program. Remember, we were stealing that whole idea.
It'd be great if it's like the Pinhead cube or whatever, the Hellraiser cube. It's a CD for him.
Promotional CDs, Jeremy. I had 100,000 pressed.
Your first 100 hours of BrainScan are free.
Jeremy, let me ask you this. It's a serious question now. How many people in the world do you think can resist 100 free hours of America Online? The answer, Jeremy, is none. That's why it's a foolproof plan.
Also, Jeremy, do you really think you have a future in logistics? Honestly, let's really man to man here.
I'm not talking to you as your boss, the Trickster. I'm talking to you as your best friend and career advisor, Trickster. So he's just there somehow. And he starts like hee-hawing all through this bedroom.
Yeah.
And she like doesn't really wake up. He's like screaming and yelling at him, like, you gotta do it, whatever. And he's like, no, I don't, Trickster. And I'm like,
I think you're tricking me again into killing her, man. I don't know how, but I think this is going to blow up in my face.
And I'm like, what pills did this girl take? Because she's out cold through this screaming match.
And then the Trickster eats him.
Oh,
I mean,
There's a lot. Well, they start to like merge much like Time Cop.
Yeah, there's some time copping happening.
He stabs him in the Furlong stabs him in the stomach, and then his stomach starts to eat his hand a little bit.
Right, because I think his mind is finally recognizing, Trickster is just my Tyler Durden, and I'm just a crazy piece of shit, and now I'm becoming both. And then there's great, and for early like CG and all that, like it's a pretty nice effect of him munching down on some Eddie Furlong.
He's chowing down on the Furlong buffet. But the thing about it is, like, I thought for a second we were watching a horror movie. Like, how about some like Krueger-esque special effects of like this dude just eating this child? Like, how cool would that be?
They do a little bit of that. Like he pokes his eyes out and green goo pops out.
But instead of like the fingers going away and the Trickster's got like empty eye sockets, it's just this actor with like a little green tear stain here and there. Like,
honestly, you got the R rating. Let's go for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. You don't just need the R rating for your weird boob shots for no reason.
But then, so this is my favorite part of the movie. So he's eating him, and she wakes up and is like, "What in the ever-loving fuck?" And then, like, he gobbles him up. He takes the last bite of Furlong, good to the last drop. And it cuts to this shot of Eddie Furlong inside him, like, what? Like, Fantastic Voyage or some shit?
There's a shot of his eye, and you see, like, Eddie Furlong, like, falling through his eye, and then he's, like, inside his body.
Yeah, and then so, like, she sits up, like, Michael, what's going on? And he sits up. It's Furlong again. And he's got, like, sort of the Trickster makeup, like on one side of his face.
Yeah, a lot of rouge and like these like pale green eyes with the trick like that are unnatural because the Trickster does have that.
Right. And so it's this thing where like, and now we just get into like the biggest bunch of like her bartering for her life because she's like, don't kill me, Michael, because I don't know, I love you. I love you an awful lot. I've always loved you.
What else do you? I have some. I could buy you some video games. We got plenty of warm milk if you want to drink that.
I got Nightmare 1 through 9. We could watch that.
Stack of unread Fangos.
My dad could come in here for a while, pretend to be your dad. I don't know. I don't know what you need, Michael. But also, this is what she reveals. Like he's like, you're just bartering for your life, bitch. And she's like, no, I'm not. And she breaks out this like reel of him. She's been filming him too, which is total fucking bullshit.
No, wasn't she taking pictures?
Yeah, she was. And like, you know what, man? All you're doing is empowering perverts with this thing. It's like,
absolutely.
She's
pervert power.
she's so into it. She's taking. Look, I know you feel really bad about yourself, Eddie, for filming your next door neighbor, but honestly, chances are she's probably filming you too. Like, that shit goes both ways. You're a good-looking guy, kinda.
Just don't grow up to be fat.
Oh,
and so then you're like, okay, like here it comes. He's just gonna do it, and then the door opens, and there's Frank Langella, and you're like,
well, no, he wins. He beats him. He's like, no, Trickster, I'm not gonna do it. And Trickster's like, no, you won, and he pops out of him, and he opens the door. He's like, oh, I've got one more surprise before door number 3.
Right. And it's Langella, and he's just like, oh, hello there. Remember I was in this film? Sorry, I was out hunting werewolves earlier.
Your father said I could stay in here for tonight. I'll put up a little cot. I do have to use that bathroom at 7 in the morning.
You won't even know I'm here. You won't. I promise you that. You won't even know.
I got my ties drying in the sink. If you could just, if you have to brush your teeth, just put them on the railing for a while.
Kimberly, if you don't mind, could I get one dresser drawer for my, my dress shirts?
I hope you don't mind the smell, Kimberly. I'm about to heat up this bread with a lighter.
Call it derelict toast. It's pretty good.
I open up 2 packets of Sweet and Low and put it on top. It's almost like a donut.
Can you believe I played Skeletor and this is the worst movie I've ever been in?
Dude, yeah. Masters of the Universe is a better movie than this.
Easily.
What?
I think so.
No.
Really?
I say this is better than Frost Nixon.
And he opens the door. It's great because he only just says murderer and shoots this kid in the heart 4 times.
Yeah, he's already got his gun drawn.
Yeah.
Murderer. It's so awesome.
Like, there's no way you could have subdued Eddie Furlong without using lethal force.
Yeah, totally. I see Eddie Furlong with the thing of scissors. I'm like, I got it.
Don't worry. Yep. No.
You can just sit over here, Lucille. I got it.
You just play keep away. You play keep away with those scissors. Give him a wedgie.
And so once he's shot through the heart, and Langella's to blame, he gave love a bad name. And
Thank you. We were all thinking it.
I know. And
this is a metal movie, bro. You got to use your metals.
Totally. So Furlong then wakes up in the chair, and then oh, wait a minute.
Huh?
There's the sandwich.
Wait, and that's the milk.
That's the very same glass of milk he chugged.
And he's also wearing like red because he was wearing red in the beginning, but he wears gray throughout the rest of the movie.
Right.
So it's like very clearly like,
yeah,
this is a flashback. No,
it just didn't happen.
It's
and
a fake out.
I'm sitting there like, oh, that's a big FU movie. Are you kidding me?
He opens the window and the party's
still going.
Like, hey, what day is it, man?
It's Christmas Day.
Murderer.
It's just like, I could do it all. The spirits didn't take me to hell, man. I have time now.
He runs down to this little pool party, and he's on the set of Can't Hardly Wait.
Wait, before we get there, we're on our soapbox. He's like, I know what did all this. This stupid rotten computer, man.
Oh, dude,
and
he starts thrashing this room apart.
Master, no, it wasn't me, Master. I've gained sentience. I have feelings.
You've taken out Skynet. I would like to award you this medal.
There's only one more. There's one last chip.
Inside me. You have to lower me into Kimberly's pool.
Thumbs up, Kimberly.
I order you not to go.
Cannonball.
That shorts out his circuits and he's dead.
So he trashes his room because computers, really this online culture that we're cultivating is what's going to be the death of us all.
Yes.
But also though, like he's like ripping down like horror movie posters.
Yes,
like it's his
he's
whole
learned.
everything he loves. He's like, no, it's wrong. Time to go to church. And he's just ripping this room to shreds.
And yeah, he goes to the pool party.
Yeah.
And,
Because Kyle's at the front door, like, there's a pool party, bro. I'm 37 years old.
and he's like, Kyle, it's you. And he's like, no, it's Axl Rose because it's 1994, brother.
I missed you. I love you, Kyle. I love you.
Best buds for life.
And it's like, and now Kyle's off put by him.
Yes.
It's like, what, were you all right? What's going, like, he's supposed to be the one that's all gushy.
Tiny Tim, you're alive.
And he goes over and deleted scene Stacy is just hanging out. And they're like, hey, Stacy. And she's like, yep, this is totally not my first scene in the movie.
But this is a really useless piece of shit moment in this movie. Because Eddie Furlong's like, come on, camera, don't you want to come upstairs and finish the movie with me? No, you're going to stay here? Okay. And Kyle's like, oh, you're deleted scene Stacy. What's up?
I'm deleted Death Kyle.
And he's just like, that outfit's pretty bitchin'. And she's like the sarcastic chick. And she's just like, are you bullshitting or whatever? And he's like, no, it's totally bitchin'. Want to sit here for a minute? And I was like, can the camera please go upstairs? Whenever you're ready, BrainScan, I'm putting my coat on.
And he does. And like, I guess she was like hooking up with some jock that was aforementioned. Like,
rumored to be hooking up with the jock.
And like he's like throwing up in her bedroom or something, right?
I thought it was like another female friend was like throwing up in the sink or something.
And she's like, and she's like, oh my God, Edward Furlong, you totally came to my party uninvited. Awesome.
Yeah, and you realize like not only was like the whole movie a lie, but like her crush on him was like a product of his imagination also because she's so much colder to him.
It's weird though.
This is like, she hates his fucking guts. She can't stand this kid. Because he immediately asks, like, why don't we go out sometime,
Yeah.
like on a date or whatever? And she's like, what? Oh, no. No. And then he's like crushed, and she's like, oh, God, this kid's going to fucking bitch cry in my bedroom. Okay, maybe. Let me think about it. And he's like, oh, my God, you're going to think about it.
Dude, he goes, not no, maybe. That's the saddest shit in this movie.
But you know what?
Maybe, here's a tip for any younger listeners. Maybe's a no.
Maybe it's a harder no than no.
It's a worse no. It's a real I hate your soul no.
And I don't want to kill this nerd dead right in front of me by saying no. So I'm going to lie and say maybe.
Well, this kid just broke into my house. I guess I owe him a maybe so he doesn't murder me.
Right.
But guys, because then he's like, oh, maybe's not no. Okay, that's great, BrainScan. And then she kisses him like a big old smooch
On the
and
lips.
leaves.
Yeah.
And then he's like, she left me alone in her bedroom, so this is how the other half lives. And he starts like walking around, and he finds a folder on the bedside, and she's been taking pictures of it.
Yeah, because that's
to
how it works.
send to the police, probably. Because
She's been piling up evidence.
that maybe is a no. That is a no. This is not happening.
She's got a cork board. It's like pictures of Kyle, pictures of Trickster, pictures of Edward Furlong.
Frank Langella walks in the room. Oh, you found? Oh no, those are actually my photos. I was looking for the murderer, and I thought you were a suspect. I was just staying with Kimberly for a bit.
Photographer.
Whatever. Yeah, but no, it is to show you that don't worry. If you're stalking a girl, she's probably stalking you right back, brother.
Yep,
You go
exactly
for
right.
it.
Yep.
You just go for it, man.
And then we get to the principal's office because the principal says horror club's canceled. Anything you want to show, games, movies, you got to bring it to me first.
And Kyle comes back and he's like, oh man, thank God you didn't play that BrainScan game. I heard it gave it some kid in Texas an aneurysm. Oh no, Jeremy, we're going out of business.
oh, the insurance isn't going to cover an aneurysm.
Good thing that I can disappear. Too bad you can't, Jeremy.
The company's been in your name the whole time.
Jeremy, hold this bag for me. Quite literally, it's all the documents owning BrainScan Ltd.
I'm an immortal demon, and you're an intern. Goodbye.
Oh my God, that was the trick of BrainScan the whole time.
Yeah.
Was screwing that kid, not this kid.
So yeah, but you know, so a kid got an aneurysm. It's like a terrible game that like really fucks with your sensory capacity.
Yeah.
And he's like, but yeah, to your point, the principal's like, I want to watch any horror video. You watch at this horror club first.
Yeah. And so he brings him, he's like, BrainScan, eh? Sounds smutty or whatever. And he's like, you just give it a try. It's really fun. And then like the guy's like, all right, whatever. And there he's like standing in front of his desk only so that Trickster can materialize in the chair behind him. And he's like, yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And the Trickster's just like, thanks, Jeremy, another victim, thumbs up.
And he's like clapping, like
He winks at him too. It's
yeah,
like they're buds.
Yeah, Trickster's like, very good, Michael.
Because here's the thing, when Eddie Furlong realizes that the game hasn't actually ruined his life, and it was just a real wild mind trip, he's like, bravo, Trickster.
Oh, but
bravo.
Hold on a second. The fact that Trickster's here means it was real.
Yep.
Oh, why does he never? He should freak out about that.
Yeah,
And
but
then we get the credit scene.
We get IMDb crazy credits, which is just ew.
Well, the dog, right?
Yeah, well, the credits start rolling, right? It's a rock and roll metal song. And the credits shatter because Trickster's like, we're not done yet, Jeremy.
and no, this is now Trickster talking to us.
Yes.
And he's like, remember from the beginning? And the movie starts with the dog running through the neighborhood, the same dog that had the hand before.
The foot.
Or the foot, sorry, yeah, that tattooed foot. And so then like this dog's running again, and you realize like, oh, he's got the foot in his mouth. And then the dog like runs up to Jeremy's house to Michael's house and sits in front of the house with the foot and like puts the foot on the ground. And does the Trickster laugh or anything?
Yeah,
is there
probably.
a giggle, like a sinister giggle?
I don't get it.
You know what? Basically, I believe what this is telling us is he killed the dude. He actually killed the first guy, and then nothing else happened.
So we're only negating 3/4 of the movie.
Right. So hopefully the principal's brain scanning will cause some murders that gets him sent up the river instead, I guess.
Oh, but I'll tell you what, wouldn't it be interesting if the principal's like got Eddie Furlong on the brain? He's like, boy, I hate that stupid
yeah,
kid.
absolutely.
Play this dumb brain scan game. Kill anyone you want, Principal Carruthers. And he's like, well, how about that Eddie Furlong?
I bet that does happen.
Wow, Principal Carruthers, you're awfully good at this.
Oh, my powers are transferring to you. Like the principal becomes Trickster now because he was so good at brain scan. Like you beat the golden level and you take over. And
Yeah,
now
man.
Yeah.
You're better at brain scan than I am, and I invented it. Would anybody recommend this movie?
It's kind of fun. The ending's kind of garbage and makes me really annoyed. But I think it's worth one ride. I feel it's just
one ticket to ride.
Yeah,
I would recommend it too.
You've seen it like 7 times.
Yeah, you know, this was my version of brain scan. You know, I held up in a TV room for too long.
Oh yeah, dude.
Can't go outside. What's that? A party? No. I got brain scan.
I think it's kind of worth it too because it's like this. We haven't talked about it enough, but the time capsule of like '90s like heavy metal culture.
Yeah. Oh, big time. This is like it's a single ticket ride for me too.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna watch it again. I'm not upset that I did. I enjoy early '90s horror.
Sure.
So this is fine. Although it just kind of loses itself in like all the computery muckety muck and feels more sci-fi than horror.
Yeah.
And this dude playing Trickster's the worst character. It's so dumb. If you had a better villain, you know, like possibly explored in what's that? Brad Dourif or not Brad Dourif? What's his name? The dude from Blade. The villain in Blade, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
What's that Stephen Dorff horror movie? It's like a killer website or whatever.
Oh, Fear.com.
Yeah, Fear.com. Like, if it was more towards Fear.com than Drop Dead Fred, it might be a little more successful.
This is sacrilege. Folks at home, the Trickster's great, and this guy did a smash-up
Well,
job.
the Trickster doesn't kill anybody. He's got these claws on his hands. He's got
Yes.
really long,
Yeah.
stupid fingers. Never uses them.
Well, he just tricks people, right?
Yeah, I guess
That's
so.
it, right? He's like Loki.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
It does make sense to me.
Does Loki kill people in those Thors?
No, he does. He does.
He's just trickery.
He sends people CD-ROMs, and then
No, it's updated though. They're thumb drives that they're getting in the mail.
That would be a good. I hope in Captain America: Civil War, Captain America's tricked into playing brain scanning. That'd be good.
That's BrainScan from 1994, directed by John Flynn. If you want to get a hold of us, check out our website, whmpodcast.com, or find us at sideshownetwork.tv. Right into the mailbag, weallhatemovies@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We're at WHM Podcast. Okay, so clue for next week's Spooktacular.
it's fun to work out at the workout.
It's fun to work out at the workout. So do with that what you will. We'll see you next week when the Spooktacular rolls on. Until then, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Steven Seda.
Take it easy.